Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. My name's GBay99. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today we're back with another League of Legends video where we have a somewhat interesting subject. Today I want to talk to you guys about climbing to ratings that you've never been before in League of Legends. I know I've been making a lot of videos on this subject because I'm so focused on climbing myself. We're trying to get it better and work on our mistakes and improve for Road to Masters. So this is something that's been swirling around my mind a lot. I thought it's only appropriate that we make a couple of videos on this subject. But today's video is something that I don't believe I've ever talked about before on the channel, even back when I was making all these How to Get Better at League videos about 4 years ago. Because today we're not just talking about getting better, today we're talking about climbing to ratings you've never been. When you first start off in League of Legends and you start off as a somewhat mediocre or bad player and you decide that you want to improve and become a good player, you typically start off in lower ratings like bronze or silver, and the first mistakes that you look at improving on are very obvious mistakes that you need to work on. Stuff like CSing. It's very obvious if you're CSing well or if you're CSing poorly. You see and you know if you are missing CS or if you're not CSing very well. That's a very obvious thing to work on if you suck at it, and it's a pretty easy thing to measure if you're improving. Similarly to dying 1 versus 1 in laning phase, whether you're winning or losing the laning phase, whenever you die, every death that you have is a mistake. So taking a look at your deaths and seeing where the mistake happened. If you died 1 versus 1, that's a very big mistake. Maybe if you're dying to a jungler, that's a little bit of a lesser mistake as long as you're warding. But the point being, these are all problems that are very easy to recognize and easy to fix and see when you're improving and when you're getting better. And as you climb in rating, you fix these mistakes, and you typically can go from bronze all the way up to around platinum, maybe mid-platinum, just by fixing these mistakes of dying too much and not CSing well. But from platinum onwards, you have to start taking a look at more nuanced areas of the game. It's no longer as simple as fixing, oh, I just randomly got caught out by mispositioning. You have to see more detailed and intricate parts of the game and see where you're making mistakes there. To get to ratings that you've never been before, specifically from platinum onwards, you have to take a look at mistakes that you don't even realize you're making. And today we have a couple of gameplays that I want to show you guys, gameplays that I think do a pretty good job of showing me working on improving some of these mistakes that I didn't even realize I was making as we are continuing this grind trying to climb in rating. Game number 1 is the game that you guys are currently watching right now, where we are laning against a Yorick top lane as Aurelia, and this is a game where we start off pretty standard, doing smart things and winning our laning phase against this Yorick on our own. We do get a little bit of help on a couple of kills, but other than that, this is pretty standard. We go and solo kill this Yorick a couple of times, take the first tower, and continue pressing a massive CS advantage. However, the catch this game is our teammates are really not playing well. I don't say that to be a jerk or to blame them, but for reference, by the end of this game, I don't think anyone other than me is positive. Whether they're good players or bad players, they were just having really rough games. However, the thing that we do in the early game here that's very unusual, we don't normally do a very good job about this, is we don't get tilted from our teammates playing bad, and we don't try and force bad engages. Typically, in a game like this where I see that I'm the only player that's doing well or the only player positive, I get really upset and kind of frustrated where I try and force engages to quickly make up the deficit in gold or the deficit in objectives that our team is currently facing. More often than not, that ends up with me going and making stupid aggressive plays where I'm trying to 1v2 or make some sort of insane outplay that I'm never going to pull off, and I end up throwing away my lead, and with me throwing away the only lead that anyone on the team had, we end up losing the game pretty handedly. I don't do that this game. In this game, I roam around a little bit and get a few picks on the mid lane Zed whenever I get the opportunity to. Other than that, I'm doing just my normal thing of farming, going top lane, killing the Yorick whenever I have the opportunity to, and I eventually end up taking the second tower on top of the first tower that I already took and giving my team a little bit of global gold. Eventually, we do start grouping a little more and looking for dragons and looking to team fight, but whenever we do, I never force an engage. I never force an engage that's going to put my life at risk. If I think that our teammates are getting caught out and dying, I'm not going to throw away my life with them. I'm going to stay calm and make sure I preserve my gold lead. Eventually, all of this pays off where there's a really exciting moment where I'm top lane, I'm looking for another kill on Yorick, which is pretty much business as usual at this point. However, Zed comes top, not realizing that I also have Annie up here, and we're able to get a double kill. We then use the opportunity to push down to the inhib turret, which is only really possible because we see the enemy team on the minimap and because I took the earlier towers. And this is an inhib turret that we take early on in the game, despite the fact that the enemy team is doubling our kills and has a very hefty lead. This is something that I I don't even know how we were able to pull this off. From then onwards, we do get a little bit too confident. We're going aggressive, seeing if we can get some kills, seeing if we can get some picks, and seeing if we can team fight at all, if at all possible. And we do have a little bit of success in some of these fights, but the enemy team still has a very big lead that I do not respect enough. They're still doubling our kills for the most part, and eventually it does catch up to us, as although we make a few daring escapes here and there, sometimes we do get caught out and eventually get one big death that allows the enemy team to take an Infernal Drake. In spite of that, we do our best to stay calm, to not tilt, to set up to take objectives, and do whatever we can to keep our lead and farm and gold and everything. And then our teammate does come in with an incredibly clutch Baron steal. The enemy team does Baron while Lee Sin has vision and while he's on the other side of the Baron pit, so he's able to smite steal Baron. I'm able to split push bot lane, taking 2 towers, which works out really well for us. We're getting this massive amount of objectives that rivals the enemy team's objectives. We still have their base open from that top inhib turret, and we're eventually able to start strategizing about how we're going to win the game. And then we do exactly that. I'm able to get a couple of picks bot lane before I recall the safety and buy some items, and then after that we start grouping, looking for another pick. We get a successful pick, again abusing our gold lead, and we end up winning the game off of that push, as I finish with a score of 11, 1, and 2. A phenomenal game. I don't know if there was any big mistake here other than that one death where we were maybe a little bit too aggressive. And overall, I think this was me fixing a big problem that I have. I have a big problem of getting tilted and trying to force plays that I should not be forcing too early, not playing passively enough when I have a big lead, and go ahead and just let the enemy team make the mistakes that I then capitalize on. This was a game where we were down by a massive amount of kills the entire game, but we kept our head level, and we were able to pull out a win. The next game is another one that has a very similar overall arching theme of staying calm and keeping level-headed, but we have a much different execution in how we're able to pull this game out for a victory. The game starts off with me drawing a lot of pressure top lane from the jungle. I won't say that I got camped this game, but I totally got camped by this Vi. She kept on coming top lane and eventually was able to get an early kill for herself and an early assist for this Maokai. However, similarly to last game, we do our best to keep a level head. We do our best to not get tilted off of that, and we're able to turn this lane around as Maokai allows us to get a kill on him. And then after we get that kill, we do our best to start drawing a CS lead by freezing the wave near our tower so Maokai can't even be in lane. He can't get any CS, he can't get any experience even, unless he's in these brushes. He's just not even bothering to come top lane though, because he realizes I can kill him, which is a pretty good start, turning that gank into a 1 lane despite the early jungle pressure. However, this is another game where our teammates struggle a lot, to a point where our team is down 2 kills to 7 very early on, and I have to make a TP gank. Now, for the first time in my life, I actually make a good TP gank, and we're able to start a little bit of a comeback here, even though the team is having such a frustrating beginning to the game. We go and we get a kill on the Jhin, and then we're able to go forward and get a kill on the Maokai, as well as the Vi. So even though the enemy team was just pushing down mid lane, and I think they got a couple of kills, 2 or 3 kills, we're able to respond with 3 kills and make this a 5 kill to 7 kill game, bringing this right back. Following our successful TP gank, that does draw more attention from Vi top lane, as she comes up and gets another gank on me and eventually does get another kill. But this attention top lane allows our bot lane Ziggs to go and take a tower, and this is a theme of the game that we recognize very early on. The enemy team is rabid about going forward and trying to just smash their face into ours and get as many kills as possible. And because we have a Ziggs in particular, that allows us to be pretty strategical and smart about going and trying to take early objectives. We're able to rotate around the map pretty well going for these objectives, and as we do our best to ward to see where the Vi is going, eventually we get a nice little catch out on her in the jungle here, where Maokai is also here. They think they're going for a good engage on me, but I have my Graves right over here, so we're able to get a couple of kills on them. And as you can see, we're really doing our best to keep these kills even, despite the fact that the enemy Jhin in particular is someone that's really starting to snowball a little bit out of control. We do recognize this though, and I'm actually able to follow up the first successful TP gank of my life with a second successful TP gank in the same game. Ridiculous, I know. I'm able to get a little bit of a zone on the Jhin, so he's not able to fire all the shots of his ulti off, I believe. Then I turn back and help my team pick off the Maokai. He flashes away, but I'm able to flash forward and go for a kill on him. Then we're continuously moving forward, drawing summoner spells and whatnot from the Alistar, and he flashes away to safety, but that allows our Urgot to go and get a kill on this Jhin with me. So we're doing a really good job of I think at least we're doing a pretty good job of trying to contain the enemy's lead, contain the enemy's gold lead where it is, particularly in their bot lane, which is the big lane that really dominated for them, and doing our best to keep an objective lead that keeps us in the game in terms of gold and everything. Our teammates continue to make some weird decisions. In particular, they end up getting caught out, and every single person other than me dies. I don't have my teleport up for this fight, but I try and do my best to make sure that this is kind of worth it. Not to suggest that we, letting them get 4 kills on our team just for a tower is worth it, but we're trying to do our best to stay focused, stay level-headed, and make the smart trades, again, rather than just looking for suiciding with our teammates and throwing our lives away. We're trying to stay level-headed and think about making the best trades possible in terms of objective play and rotating around the map. We have another TP gank later in the game that isn't quite as successful as our previous ones were, but the general theme of what I'm doing in these TP ganks and in these fights overall is I'm doing my best to be smart about not dying and giving my gold lead to the enemy team in the same way that I tried to make sure I didn't do that in the previous game. This is a game where I feel like I have to be one of the carries for the team in team fights at least, so I cannot be affording just throwing my life away and throwing away all these killing sprees I have to give the enemy team extra gold. We continue this strategy until it eventually pays off in a big way. The enemy team is focusing me quite a bit because I am a pretty big damage threat. I went for a second damage item this game, a Blade of the Ruin King in particular, to make sure I could wipe out all the enemy tanks that they have, and eventually we get a big enough pick that we're able to get a couple of kills, do a good job wiping out the enemy team without any of us dying, and then we're able to take an inhibitor off of that. And as we open up that inhibitor, that really starts to open up the game for us. It starts off slow with our team just sort of dancing around the Baron as I split push bot lane with my teleport. I forget why I chose not to teleport into this team fight. I believe it's because a teammate did end up getting caught and the Vi gets a double kill, but we are able to continue split pushing, continue trying to make this all worth it and taking another objective. The overall theme that I think of this game that I don't normally do is make some pretty good decisions in terms of not throwing my life away, split pushing at the opportune moments where I'm able to either get towers or where I don't believe the enemy team is going to ever be in a position to come bot lane and kill me, because if they send one person down, then I know I'm going to be able to just 1v1 them and pick up a kill, and they don't really have the resources or opportunity to send more than one person down. And as we continue the split push and these objectives, we're able to really keep our team in this game despite the fact that the enemy team has all this great team fight potential with their amazing Jhin. I don't quite understand. Oh yeah, they took the Baron. I was going to say I don't know why they didn't send more people to help Maokai here, but we're able to take that inhibitor, and trading the Baron for the bot inhibitor when we already have one inhib open is a pretty good trade considering that it started off with our teammates getting caught out. With their base so open at this point, we're able to siege successfully, and even though they have the Baron, we're able to pull out a pretty good victory with some smart objective play. Both of these games, I think, exemplify two elements of my gameplay that I've always needed to work on, but I never really have gotten to because I've never really needed to climb in rating, to climb all the way up to Diamond. Objective play isn't something that's that important in League of Legends in the lower ratings, because if you get enough kills on your own, you're generally able to just kill people in team fights, and bad team fighting is something that means you have a lot of opportunities to go and just ace the enemy team if you play well enough and your teammates are there to distract the enemy. I mean, not to oversimplify things in lower ratings, but enough kills, enough CS, enough of a gold lead can really do a lot to help you win a game. Objective kills and objective rotations and all these sorts of things, not to say that they're the most difficult thing or only for high-rated players or anything like that, but this is an area of my gameplay that I definitely need to refine, and it's something that I think I'm starting to as I look for improvement and look for areas to get better at. Similarly, not throwing my life away and continuing to try and press forward with an advantage, not getting tilted when I see that my teammates are struggling or that the enemy Jhin is doing crazy well. This is all some pretty important stuff that I'm really happy to see that I'm making some progress on. I'm making some level of progress on it. I know I'm not the best yet, and I'm certainly not master tier yet, but we're starting to make some progress in moving in the right direction. Improving on these little niche areas that aren't just the obvious stuff like CSing more and dying less are really where you get a lot of your power in being able to carry games like this. Games where even though your entire enemy team is super fed and everyone on your team is negative, you can still be the carry. So all I have to do is replicate this kind of success in every single game I ever play, right? No! Annie, I don't know what you're thinking. That's it. That's the problem. You're not thinking. Maybe you should try thinking a little bit. Oh my god, this jungler. Was he the fucko that said that I was, oh, my friend told me you're a bad player? Dude, look at you. He's not even gonna die. Oh my god, today is the worst day of my life. Yeah, knowing the luck that we've been having today with teammates, I bet he'll connect to the 259 right before we can slash remake. Oh, great. Even better! Even better. This is the best. Oh, great. Oh, God. I love today. Today is just awesome. Okay, maybe that's easier said than done. Anyway, though, I hope you guys all enjoyed watching today's video. I hope you got a little bit of use out of it. Please actually do me a favor if you don't mind and leave a little bit of feedback in the comments on whether you're kind of interested in these videos. I can just stick to the gameplays if you don't like this analysis too much, or, you know, try and stick to the other kinds of videos I enjoy making on the channel if you don't like this kind of analysis on how to get better at the game again. I realize that I haven't made videos like this in a while, but anyway, I'll see you all in the next video regardless. Until then, though, thank you very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.